brother.
Hey, listen, it was. It's my fault. I accidentally forgot to record this conversation.
Hey man, like nowadays, it's better to get in the good vibe than be around like negativity, man. What's your like motivation for this like album that you got going?
What's going on, guys? This is Joe,
Hey, this is B Nasty.
and we are here with
Brennan
again, baby. He's back for the second time.
Yo, what up, B?
What's up?
How you doing, man? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Good. So we brought B specifically today for this topic that we're going to talk about today, and it's about past jobs that we had that weren't very job-like. You know,
Shitty jobs.
Yeah, shitty jobs. Exactly right, B Nasty. And I want to start off with Brennan and ask him about a time when he worked for a shitty company, had a shitty boss, anything shitty that you had to deal with during your time working at a place.
Oh, man, I'm currently working for a shitty place right now, man.
Are you?
Yeah, dude. Giant Eagle.
Oh, you work for Giant Eagle?
Yeah.
So what does your day look like?
Well, I start off the day I go in, I get myself a gallon of water,
Okay.
and then I go in, and I got to wait until 7 o'clock so I can open the doors. After that, I got to spray carts with, like, desanitizer and get the garbage and fucking all this other shit. And it's just, like, it seems like every day they add more and more to my job. Like, before I was just spraying carts, pushing carts forward, so, you know, there'd be carts in the lobby.
Yeah.
Right.
Now it's like, oh, you got to go get the recycling from the recycling bin. You got to go to these 3 garbage cans that are in the parking lot, get the garbage from that, sweep up, fucking leaf blow.
Jesus, you got a leaf blow?
Yeah. Like,
What the fuck?
like,
I never heard
guess-
no shit like
yeah,
that.
because, like, I guess if, like, I'm not doing a good enough job sweeping, I got to get shit that's underneath the red box that's outside, or like anything over by the logs, because we got these like logs set up for like fires and shit.
Okay.
So like I got to go over there and sweep up, and
So you can these logs, they're in packages and people can buy them and take them home
Yeah,
for
yeah.
like 5 pieces of wood. It's like $10 or something.
yeah, like $11.
Oh,
something
okay,
like that.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, so there'll be garbage over there that I got to sweep up, cigarette butts that I got to pick up, and it's just like,
Isn't that shitty, man? You don't even smoke. Well, you smoke,
Yeah.
but we don't smoke.
Yeah, that's what-
And you got to sweep up somebody else's trash.
Hey man,
It's crazy. We should police ourselves. Am I not right?
I mean we
I
should,
mean,
man.
the thing is, like, there's like a butt depot over by the garbage can outside, and nobody ever uses this shit. Like yesterday, I was outside, I was drinking a Red Bull, smoking a cigarette before work, and this dude fucking flicks like a half cigar into one of the carts that I gotta spray. So now
Ain't that some
I
shit?
gotta dig that shit out of the carts
Yo.
and fucking
And you don't know what that guy's what he has.
No.
You know, you don't know if he's got the herp lip or something.
right. So like, I immediately go into the bathroom and wash my hands, because like I'm kind of OCD like that anyway, where I
Yeah.
gotta wash my hands and fucking. It's like, yeah, dude, like. There's a butt depot right there. You didn't have to fucking flick it all the way over there.
Right,
Yeah.
right. You could have just walked a couple feet. You know,
Yeah.
and that's the same thing like the people with the carts that don't put the carts back.
Yeah.
And they put them in the parking spots
Mhm.
for people to fucking let them hit your car.
Yeah, and like we've got like 4 cart returns or
Mhm.
cart corrals, whatever you want to call them, and like people will just like bomb the carts into them and shit.
Mhm.
And like,
I'm one to do
I'm
that.
one of those
I'm
people,
one of
too.
those people, man.
I mean, you do.
I
what
like
you
to hear
do,
the noise.
But like the parking lot's also kind of slanted,
Mhm.
so carts will
Carts
just
roll out.
fucking roll out, and
Oh.
people are swerving around them and shit. And it's like, okay, well now I got to go get that too.
You know what? I'm sorry to keep on interrupting you, but before I forget, I just want to bring it up. If you have a cart corral in your parking lot, isn't Giant Eagle responsible for any damages that happen to the car? Because I heard that TJ Maxx, the reason they don't have cart corrals is so that they're not responsible for shopping carts that are left in their parking lot.
See that I don't.
I
know.
didn't know if that was true or not,
I'm
but I
not
just wanted to
sure.
bring that up to see if you knew
Yeah.
anything about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I probably should ask that, because like I'm kind of like worried about people's cars getting hit and shit. Because like if it's my car, I don't want someone fucking being a dickhead and bombing the cart into the cart corral only for it to
fly
back
out
and hit my car.
Jesus, man, that's a hell of a life. And you do that every day. Like, is it like the same routine tasks that you do every day?
Yeah, every day. I do the same shit every day.
Those are the worst kind of jobs.
How are they able to add more to your responsibilities? Like, do you ever go over with them, like, yo, what is my job duties?
No,
but
I know, like,
for real.
like, I'm not the only person that does the cart spraying. They bring people in during the afternoons, like, after I'm done. And as far as I know, they don't have to do any of that shit. I'm like, well, wouldn't it make more sense for the people in the afternoon to clean the garbages out so that way I don't have to do that in the morning?
Right.
Like, so there's a fresh garbage can.
Right.
Or fresh recycling, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
When customers are coming in, like, you don't want a full garbage can because then, you know, that's taken away from me being able to push carts into the store. And if there's no carts in the store, you know, then people are going to be just being dickheads about it and grabbing like the carts with the baby seat holders and shit like that.
Yeah, I think B Nasty's onto something here, man. I think that you signed up for a specific job duty, and anything in that job title, when you search for the job, they give you the job description, right? And they shouldn't be allowed to tailor that after you're hired under those conditions.
Yeah.
Right?
Without some type
because
of
you're a hiring manager, so you know all about that, man, you know? And that's why, you know.
Some type of incentive or bonus or some type of...
kudos even, you know?
Nah, it might be more because it's work that you're doing.
Well, right. You
know?
I mean, but he's getting nothing, so, you know.
I would talk to him about it.
Yeah.
You know? Ask him, hey, can we talk about my responsibilities around here?
Right, and why I'm being asked to do additional duties on top of the duties that I'm already doing for the duty.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, because like when I went in to get hired for the job, like all they told me was, okay, all you got to do is spray carts and push the carts forward.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it turns into this laundry list of things that I got to do. And it's like, well, like, why didn't you tell me any of this shit when you were interviewing me?
Yep, and I feel like they hide some of that stuff, you know, during the interview process because potential prospects may back out.
Right.
You know, oh shit, man, I gotta clean the fucking toilets too. You know, like
thank God I don't have to do that.
Oh, okay, well, and you know, that was just an example, but you know, and those, I mean, I hate to say it, but those type of jobs are all over the place, man. You know, they're the lower paying jobs. They expect you to break fingers and stuff for their company and shit.
And that shit, like, that happens more often than not. Like, messing, because, like, carts get stuck together. You got to try and get them unstuck. Yeah. More often than not, like, the metal is slamming into my hands. I'm coming home with, like, bloody hands and shit.
Jesus, man. I feel like that's a workers' comp case, man. You should talk to Morgan, bro.
and I don't even get health insurance. Like, they were talking about, like, oh, we're going to switch your title around so you can get health insurance. What? And it should take, like, 3 weeks for you to get something in the mail. 3 weeks turns into fucking, I don't know, like 6 months, and I still haven't gotten whatever they said that I was supposed to get in the mail. So
a question for you, B Nasty, is if you're full time and you work 40 hours, you're required health insurance, aren't you, or no? No, you're not.
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. No, I thought if you worked over a certain amount of time.
They told me, they gave me some explanation as to why I wasn't getting health insurance, and I can't remember what it was, but it sounded not right.
Not right.
Yeah, like it didn't make any sense to me, but I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'll just keep doing my job.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times like this, or people have jobs like that, just speak up, you know, speak with your supervisor and managers. I mean, you at least have like an HR department that can go over certain things with you. I mean, because companies now, especially how the economy is, they are just hooking anybody up with a job, and just people are doing what they want to do, but they're not getting the right training. They don't know. People are actually walking off. It's so crazy, like, what they have got going on. So, like, if you have the same title as someone else, you guys should do the same exact job.
Right.
You know,
that's what I feel too. Like, because I know for sure that the night people that do the same job as me don't do what I do, because I come in the next day
and
like
nothing's done.
Nothing's done.
Right.
It's like, well, then why am I busting my ass doing what I'm doing if they're not going to bust their ass and do the same thing?
I think it's simple, man. I think they're taking advantage of you.
Right?
I mean, doesn't it seem like that?
It kind of feels like it.
You know, and, you know, if I was in your shoes, I'm not, you know, but being in your situation, you know, I would bring it up sooner than later, because they feel probably the longer you do it, yeah, you know, you've been doing it for this long. Why are you going to say something now? You know what I mean? So the sooner you catch that shit, like, hey, man, this is some shit. You better give me a quarter, you know, a raise or
Right.
something, you know, an evaluation at least or something, you know. Because if they don't think you're going to say nothing, man, then they're probably just going to keep on doing it, right?
Yeah, but do you like it though? Do you like the freedom? Because it doesn't sound like they're like over your shoulders. Like, all right, go ahead and do that, and then you come back. Do you like that
I mean,
freedom?
like, yeah, I mean, I don't mind it because, like, they really don't bother me too much at work. Like,
Yeah.
every once in a while they'll come out and be like, "Oh, could you do this? Could you do that?" And I'll be like, "All right, whatever," you know.
Right.
Like,
Like the-
help someone out to their car with their groceries
Yeah.
or some shit, and like, every once in a while, like if it's an old person, they'll actually give you a couple bucks for helping them out. So
There you
it's
go.
like, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I can't take that money.
You better
but-
claim those tips.
On your taxes.
Yeah, you better claim them tips.
Well, I mean, technically,
1099.
I'm not supposed to be able to
Take it anyway,
it,
right,
but,
right.
Like they'll be like, "Well, what if it fell on the ground and you happen to pick it up?" I'll be
Right.
like,
Yeah, absolutely. If I see some money blowing around, I'm picking that shit up, man.
Right.
All right.
I mean, I found money there before.
Did
Like,
you?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
$35.
Damn. Was it like wadded up together, sticky or
No,
something?
it was just like blowing in the wind. I was
Damn,
like, "Is that
man.
money?" I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Shit.
Right.
Brian was chasing that shit down.
I would chase that shit down.
Hell yeah.
too.
I'm just saying, yeah, me too. I saw it blowing by. I'm like, it's mine. I saw it first.
I'm not going to chase down no coins though.
No,
If I see a
no,
quarter.
no.
Mm-mm,
No,
I don't do
if
that.
it's a quarter, like or like some kind of coin, I'll just like pick it up and throw it in the garbage or some shit.
I'm
Yeah.
the same way. I hate pennies, man.
Yeah.
Pennies
If
are
I
the
see
worst
pennies-
currency in the world.
I don't even know why we still have pennies, man.
It was
Like,
ridiculous.
it is ridiculous, man. I see pennies or like, see, I go pay with cash and they give it to me. I'm like,
Just take that shit back. Put it in the take a penny, leave a penny thing.
Nah.
No, you don't
I
even do that?
always give it away. I'll throw that shit away. I don't like pennies, man.
Yeah.
I'm the
And
same.
that's what I think. I think we should round. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We should round. If it's under 5 cents, you should round down. Above
Yeah.
5 cents, round up.
Yeah.
You know?
We definitely should. There's no
there's
need
no
for
reason
pennies.
for pennies, man. It's just a waste of space, man. Waste of copper.
Yeah.
Someone they can put that shit in the house somewhere for the piping.
I think I remember when I was younger, I thought like, like Canadian penny was worth more. Like, oh, here's a Canadian penny, and find out it's actually not. It's just so
Yeah, no,
stupid.
it's actually worth less.
Yeah, how can it be less than a penny? A penny's the lowest currency we got, man, you know? Unless you're dealing in like stocks and shit like that, but yeah, that's crazy, man. Hey, Be Nasty, what do you got for us, man? You got a shitty job
Man,
you ever been to?
I've had shitty jobs before I got into like the big boy jobs. You know what though? I had a job which I worked in a factory, and this factory was a place where they had like paint containers, these huge paint containers that were like 12 feet high. And they were for like Ford or GM, when they would paint the cars.
Mhm.
Well, my job was to have to go into the containers and squeegee the paint out of it. Right? This, I don't even know if I should say this company's name, but it's over on 130th and the Industrial Parkway. So, but the thing was, I was young. I had a lot of energy, man.
Mhm.
I loved it, but it was so shitty, man. I was making like $9 an hour. But the thing is, the work and the effort that I had to put in to be able to do this was bullshit, man.
Yeah.
So these containers weighed probably about 300 pounds, and they were on like a conveyor belt. And they would just, someone with a forklift would just pick it up and put it on, the conveyor belt for me to be able to, squeegee it out. So I had to be on the top squeegeeing it. Then I also had to come down and open up a valve to be able to do it and also get in there. And I think I was doing maybe like 50 of those a day, man. And they were big. And I would, I get fucked up too, because sometimes like, they would put a container on there and I'm in the middle and the container comes sliding and smack me. Now, at this time, just like you, I didn't have health insurance. So I was leaving my back hurt, your foot proper. They got the little step things so you can like step on and everything. It was trash. But the thing was, though, it was a shitty job. It was shitty pay, but the workers was awesome. So I feel like a lot of times you might like be in a shitty job or something like that. But if your coworkers are cool, you're like, fuck it, man. I'll go see Brian tomorrow, man. We're going to just kick it. I had a couple of old guys that worked there with me, and we used to go half on breakfast. And this breakfast was huge ass breakfast. So we'll put $3 in and eat all day. Cut it in half and do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the job was horrible, man. Like I came home smelling like industrial paint, smelling like ass, you know what I mean? Smelling like sweat. Like there's no way that you can leave this job and try to jump into bed with your lady or just jump into bed, period, with anybody because it was just a mess. And you know, different colors on you and everything. When break time hit, man, we'd be flying to the break room just to be able to sit down because the whole time, that's another thing, man. These companies that, you know, got these people standing up for 8, 10, 12, 14 hours, that's horrible, man.
Yeah.
No matter what you got on the ground to be able to help that, man, it's
still bad for you. It's still bad for your knees, everything.
Yeah, man. So I was doing that job probably about, the thing was, I was a temp on top of that. I was a temp. And that's back in the day, like when temp was being cool, you would go to like a staffing company and they're like, oh, I got a job for you. And, you know, they're making their little pay or whatever. I think that's what got me into being, you know, wanting to be in HR, being a recruiter, because I used to see how they got over on people being temps.
Yeah, yeah.
And dude, I was a temp and I was busting my ass just trying to get in. Then I finally got in being like full time. I only was getting paid like $2 more. And I'm like, are you kidding? Dude, I left that shit. I'm like, I am too smart for this. Like too smart. But then like years later, you know, I still got people like, hey, be nasty. Hey man, how you doing? You know, like, you were awesome. And I'm like, yeah, like you still work there? Like, yeah, I still work there. I'm like, not me, dude. Like I can't, it wasn't even about the money, man. Yeah. It's more about like the people that you work with. I mean, the bosses wasn't too bad. I would say that like if you got a shitty job and you dealing with a boss that don't like you, or maybe they're on their shit because they're trying to be something, like you gotta relax, man. People are people at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you know what
true.
I mean? Like don't treat people like shit. You know, I got friends that hit me up too, like, oh, you know, I hate my job, you know, because my boss. It's like, why be that way? My idea of being a boss is to be able to do your job and show you, not like tell you how to do it. So there's people like getting at you about wiping shit down or chasing it. Well, how about you take your ass out here with me? It'd make you feel a lot better if you saw them doing it.
Come
but
on
if they're going to say, oh, hey, there's that over there in the corner, can you go ahead and do that? And they're sitting right there looking. Come on, man. That's not how you lead people. Lead people by actions.
Right. Lead by example.
Examples, man. That's exactly how I am. But if I'm not feeling shit, you guys immediately know I ain't feeling some shit. Immediately. Because my whole mood changes and I'm not about it. And I feel like it's the same way you have to do with people that work for you. Lead by example.
Yeah. And you should have to lead by example.
That's it, man. Yeah. But yeah, that's one of my stories. We probably got tons of stories. I mean, that's just one job. You know, I try to make that into a nice story because it was a lot worse. I mean, even when it got colder outside and stuff like that, you know, because we live in Northeast Ohio, so you know, a lot of snow that we get. And when it got cold or snow on the ground, man, that factory was like below 30, and you got to move heavy ass shit, and you got to get wet. And you gotta scrape shit, man.
God damn.
And ain't no heat in the building other than in the bathroom, so you got people in there just huddled up and shit. You know, like, hey man, just take care of your workforce, man. I mean, we, you know, and a lot of shit that we talk about, this is like crazy, but there's other like countries and things like that. Their work environments are a lot worse than ours. So I'm like happy about that, but still, it still sucks, man.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Joe? You got anything, man? I know you've worked a lot, man, and you kind of retired now, so you ain't got to work for nobody. How about you, man? What about your jobs?
Oh my God, dude. Let me go. I'm gonna have to say when I was in Colorado, man, I for a little bit of time, I went through a temp agency. All right. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, yeah, man, you get to be, because at the time I was going for my bachelor's degree in criminal justice, which I have now. Nice. But they were like, okay, you can be a urinalysis technician for people coming out of, prison and things like that, and juvenile and all that stuff. And, you can do that. And I thought, hey, that shit would be cool, man. It's right in my lane, because I'm trying to go for criminal justice is probably the precursor. And then I'll start meeting probation officers, and I'll start meeting this and that and the other. And, it just turned out to be the opposite effect, man. I was there for a couple days before I kind of got the hang of it. You do mouth swabs and you do urinalysis and, a couple different other things. Hair follicle sometimes. I didn't ever get to do any of those. And, it was a decent job. It was very easy. It was a small building. Checking in people, like getting them into the system was probably the hardest because the type of people you're dealing with are on drugs or alcohol, and they come in and they're like, hey, I'm here. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck is your name? Like, yeah, what is your name? And then I'd look them up and then, oh, you don't test today. They go, yes, I do. My probation officer told me I did. And I'm like, all right, well, go fucking call them because you're not in the system. And, I wouldn't treat them that way, obviously, because I'm working and I'm professional while I'm working. But in my head, I'm just like, dude, come on. A normal person knows if you're going to the doctor, going anywhere, you give your name, a number, you just get it shit out of the way so you can be taken care of as fast as possible so you can be in and out. The more you dick around, the more I'm going to want to dick around because if you didn't take the time to prep yourself to come into a place you knew you had to come, why the fuck am I going to go out of my way to make it easy for you?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I that was the shitty part of the job. Now, the fun part was catching people trying to sneak apparatuses in to take pisses out of, man.
What you mean
Apparatuses, bro, or apparati, I don't know. But listen, so this guy, the first guy I caught, man, I didn't really catch him. He snitched on himself, okay? So he came in, and I was in the bathroom. I stand in the back corner. I don't like to look directly at people's junk, man. You're supposed to make sure they're not doing it right. But you can tell if a motherfucker's fumbling around. Like, my dude's dick is not 19 feet long. You don't have to be in there forever. You just whip it out and take a pee, and then you're done. Right. Well, this guy was taking an extra long time, and I'm like, yo, bro, what is going on over there?
Yeah.
And then he after I say that, he turns around, zips up his pants, and, like, comes real fucking close to me. And he was like, hey, man, I'm going to piss hot. And I'm like, okay, that ain't got shit to do with me, man. I don't get paid. I'm not up there. You know what I mean? I just get paid to stand here and watch you piss. That's it. And he's like, yo, I'm going to go to jail if this comes back hot. And I was like, dude, I'm not pissing for you. Like, that's illegal, first of all, right? And I'll lose my job and shit. And so he's like, hey, man, can I like, can you do anything? I brought this fake piss with me. And he pulls out this fucking bottle of fake piss. And I'm like, yo, it was like my third day, and I'm dealing with this.
Don't do drugs.
Exactly. That's basically it. If you do them, don't get caught. Don't go out in public. Stay in your fucking house. If you're going to do some crazy type of drug, just stay in your house so you don't get caught.
So he pulled out some fake piss?
Yes, pulled out the fake piss, man. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what you want from me. I was like, if you want to pour it in there, you fucking can. What am I going to say to the guy? You know what I mean? If you're going to do it, you're going to do it.
Right.
So,
what are you going to say? Don't stop. Like, it's not. It doesn't matter to you whether or not he pisses.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck, and I'm still telling on you. You know what I mean? Because that's my job. And we were speaking about incentives, and every person that you caught, the owner of the building or the owner of the company would give you $10. And that $10 to me is worth more than that person pissing hot and going to jail, man. And that's what it was, So, like, I was like, all right, I'll take it. And then he walked out thinking he was all good. I sent it on the counter, and I was like, hey, Gene, I got another one. And I had to write a statement. I sent it to his probation officer. Never saw that kid again.
Man, you got that kid locked up, man.
I didn't get him locked up, though. I didn't. Exactly right. And that's how I saw it. I'm not putting myself in a position where I'm going to fall because of something that you did that I could have prevented for myself. Mm-hmm. Right? You know what I mean? I'm not taking the fall for nobody unless, like, the situation that happened a long time ago. If you're my boy, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But if I don't fucking know you and you're a druggie already, like, come on, man. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
So one more I got. And this guy was a little bit more trickier. This is the guy that actually used an apparatus, man. I'm telling you. This guy came in. He had it. You know how you funnel gasoline out of a car?
Yeah.
You suck on it a little bit, and then you get it triggered up, and then it just comes pouring out.
Pause. Go ahead.
So he comes in, and he's got a tube that runs from his pocket, up his shirt, around his back, and down his sleeve into his pointer finger.
Could you see it through his
I
clothes?
couldn't see it. Mm-hmm. But when I was standing back over his shoulder, I saw his finger like doing like this, and I saw like a white tube there. And I was like, God damn it. Because he was a cool dude, man. He was every time he come in, hey, what's up, man? You liking it here? Blah, blah, blah. But see, I think that was all a precursor to him thinking that I'm going to allow him to do what he's doing because he was trying to communicate with me and be friends and friendly. But when I'm at work, that's my job. That's my only job, is to make sure motherfuckers don't do something shady while they're pissing in a cup.
Right.
That's my only job. And, you know, I had to do it. So I was like, hey, bro, I see the tube, man. And he was like, oh, for real? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, you're not the best sneaker. You know, you can't. So I left the bathroom, and I brought him out in the hallway. He came out, actually. And he's like, yo, man, what's going to happen? I was like, I don't know. I gotta snitch on you, man. I got to tell. You know what I mean?
Man.
So, and it's shitty. I felt bad doing it, you know, because some of these people are probably on their way to being successful again, you know, out of the slump or whatever. But if you allow them to take advantage of you every single time they come in, they're going to want you to turn the other way. If you do it once, you're going to have to do it 1,000 times with those type of people. And that's just my understanding of how that works.
But if they wanted to be successful, they wouldn't have smoked weed or done coke in the fucking first place.
Right, right. And and that's why I'm like, hey, man, you know, I got to say something. You know, it's not only for the $10, because that shit was nice, you know. But
dude, there's no way I'm telling them somebody for $10.
Listen, if it's your only duty at your job, you're literally only there to watch people piss and make sure that they piss right.
Would you do that, B?
Probably.
You would do that?
It's a bounty, man.
It's for real every time.
It's
so
the job,
if 5
man.
people come in 1 hour and they all have apparatuses or pee bottles, that's $50 plus you made whatever your hourly was. So that day, instead of walking out with $150 or $110, you're walking out with $210.
I'm not incentive based as far as money,
man. Dude,
it's a code, man.
It ain't no code, man. I ain't got no code.
You know what I would have did?
Nah. What would you have done?
I would have definitely involved someone else into it. You know.
Well, you have to. Every time something happens, you have to come out the bathroom and say what happened.
Yeah, I mean, like, me not be the person, but me also having someone to be able to be there too. So it's not like I told on them. It's like we told on them.
That's not how that works. That's not how that works,
like
because there's one male and one female, and then there's a person sitting at the desk. So sometimes the
I'd
owner
have to quit, bro. I would have to quit.
Sometimes the owner's there, and sometimes she's not. But that's what I was getting to is, you know, you have to, for yourself, you have to decide whether or not you can live with yourself. That first time that it happened, I couldn't stop thinking about it for 3 days. All right, I was thinking about this kid and what was going to happen to him.
And his fake bottle of pee.
And his fake bottle of pee.
Man.
Because he tried to be straight up. At first, he tried to lie, but then he was like, hey, I got this fake piss. So I felt bad because he knew he was doing something wrong, but he was still trying to do it. You know?
ever had to collect the sample and it was piss all over the thing? like the whole cup? Like,
on the outside.
You know what I mean? Like on the outside, like it just piss all over it. Like, I'll just say this, man. One time, like, you know, I worked for a staffing company as a recruiter there with them. And one time, like, I was administrating a piss test to someone. And they came out and their hands was really wet, you know, because we didn't go in the room. You know, you close the door or whatever. You know, you're listening to see if they flush the toilet after you told them don't flush the toilet.
Right.
Well,
right.
His hands was all wet and the cup was all wet. And it smelled. And I was looking at him and I'm like, dude, did you pee in the toilet and then scoop the urine out of the toilet and then put it there? And is that why your hands is wet? He's like, yeah. And I was like, dude, you got to come back another day, man. Cause I'm not touching that.
No.
You know what I mean? Would you guys touch that?
No.
There's no way.
All right.
It really
You
felt
can't
like
pay me enough.
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's why
No.
$10 ain't enough.
So
No,
listen.
I mean,
let me say
that's
something.
a bit
Let me say
different.
something real quick. So the way that it worked at the facility, right, was okay. So each tube or piss tube or whatever you want to call it comes in its own bag. Okay, and what I do, I tear the bag open. I give them the cup, and then at the top of the bag is another seal. So I never touch the cup. Okay, if they can get piss all over the fucking, which they do. These motherfuckers, man. Sometimes they just fucking piss. I don't know what the hell the problem is. Maybe
sprinkler system coming out there. Shit.
Maybe it's too small a little bit, so they can't grasp it to put it. I don't know. It's crazy.
They got shitty aim.
Or they just got shitty aim. But they would get it all over the place. I'd be like, yo, man, just put the cap on it, and then I'll. The bag is pretty large, so I'll push it together so it opens up, right? And then I'd be like, all right, go ahead and drop that shit in there. And I'd have gloves on, obviously, you know, just in case a little splashback on my hands or something.
Right.
But they would drop it in there. I would take off the plastic seal, and then I would seal it closed and drop it in the drop box. And then that's it. I didn't have to do nothing else. at the end of the night, you have to mop up, But I mean, that was the job that was given to me by the staffing agency. So
Yeah,
you know what I
man.
mean? As sometimes you got to do that shit, man. And that's it. And that's why I will never fucking work for a temp agency again.
So I remember I was working because I'm looking at these satellites when we were driving earlier. We're looking at I used to install DirecTV, right?
Oh, okay,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And DirecTV, I remember as a kid having DirecTV, and it sucked when it snowed and it rained.
Rain
and
or the
everything.
wind blew. If the
Yeah.
wind blew, you're done.
It's so, or even like if you go to a bar now and like they got DirecTV and it starts raining and snowing, it's like, oh, everybody got to clear out. Well, okay, so this what happened. It was DirecTV, but it was like an off brand of them, so they worked for DirecTV. So I think I was just thirsty. I just wanted 2 jobs at this time. So I had a regular job, and I was like, oh man, I think it'd be cool. Like I'm handy. I can just hook up some internet. And I was thinking like, oh man, I could do that, and I can hook everybody up too. Start making a little cash on the side. You can't do that with DirecTV. So I ended up going through training and everything, and I had my own little van and all that cool stuff. And I was with this trainer, and he was pretty cool and everything. But ended up happening was he was training me at these houses, and we got to get on top of these houses and find the right coordinates in the sky so that the internet or the strength signal goes to the house. Once that part was easy. Now I wasn't afraid of going on roofs and whatnot. I was more timid related to drilling into people's houses. Because you're gonna take a drill bit and go through the house, and you don't know what's there. You might even hit like some electric or something like that. I'm not an electrician. I'm sure someone's laughing at me talking about this. So I'm like, I'm hooking up people's stuff, and I'm going everywhere, man. I'm going to nice neighborhoods. I'm going into the hoods. I'm going into like buildings that have like offices going on and stuff like that. They're conducting things like that, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I could do it. Now, mind you, I got hired when it was hot. All right, so it's nice. It's probably like July, August. I didn't consider what it was going to be like in the wintertime. So once it starts getting cold, I'm like, fuck this shit. So my last house, and I remember this, man. So I was somewhere real nice. I don't even remember what city it was. It's in the Cleveland area. And I go over their house. They're like, yeah, hey, you got to, hook up 4 boxes into the house and everything. And we want to hook up the home security system. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking, but this house is massive. I mean, this house is like a maybe 4,000 square foot house. Massive house. Joe, you're having a lot of problems over there, man, while I'm telling my story. I'm going to remember that when you tell your story. I'm going to move everything.
I'm trying to.
So hold on, technical difficulties. Why?
There we go. All right, we're good.
So I'm in this house, I'm on the roof, and it's taking me a lot longer because this type of shingles that they had in their house, like the drill bit would not go in there, man. And I'm like trying to yank it in, and it would not go. So finally, I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to start hammering in. I hammer it in, and then I start drilling. I was like, all right, there it goes. I got a little sticky tap so everything fits. I line it up and everything. I get the signal. I'm like, all right, cool. Now, what the problem was, I got the satellite where it needed to go, but the cord was too short. The cord was too short. So from the satellite dish to where it needed to go to the drop was too short. So that means pretty much you done fucked up because you're gonna have to rerun this cord. Since his house was so long, I did not have enough cord to be able to do it.
Oh, no.
So basically, I had this drop down, and it was all in the bushes. It wasn't professional at all. It's all in the bushes, all in the trees. It's hanging off of stuff like this, and they're like, oh, why is it taking so long? Right? And I'm trying to call like my supervisor, my trainers and stuff like that. Like, hey man, I'm fucking this house up. Can you come over here and help? And they would not come. They're like, yo, we're like 30 minutes out, like you got to be there all day. That might just be your only house. And I'm like, oh man. So I'm finally doing it. I had to hook up everything. So I ended up hooking up like the security system. That thing was baller. Ain't nobody's going in. You go ahead and do one thing to their house. Ding, 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 ding. They already know. But they enter the cable was not hooked up right. Man. I had to go. What ended up happening was I had to go out there twice, and I still fucked it up. And then when I finally got done, the lady was so like she was just so happy that I wasn't going to be in her house no more. She gave me $80. Like,
Damn.
here you go.
Hey, take this
You know what I
money and
mean?
get the fuck
Like, get
out,
the fuck
man.
out of my house. Man, I was putting holes in her house like this fucking big, just trying to get, because I was like double cording it through. No homo, but anyways, these holes was like this big, man. And I just remember, like, man, I probably should like send them a card because they probably had to pay for their siding like really bad.
Damn.
I think I did mess it up, but that was more than 10 years ago. So don't try to get me.
Jesus. Yeah, that's 10 years, man.
Yes.
10 years the limit.
Yeah, man. Anything I talk about is probably about 10 years, unless I talk about some present stuff. But
Damn, 10 years
that's
ago.
some premium content when I tell you about some new stuff.
Well, anyway, I think that's time for this one. What do you say?
No, man, we keep going. I got another story.
You got another one? I have one more too. I'm just worried about the P4 papping out on us, man. It's on the one bar again, man. So
Dang.
I don't know. All right.
Oh wait, before we end this, I want to shout out everybody that's definitely listening to us. We are seeing you guys listen to us a lot more. We see the downloads are coming. There is definitely more content. We got B right now. He's also working on the logo. He's about to hook it up for you guys. But yeah, definitely keep listening to us. Joe, go ahead and finish off, man.
Yeah, and we talked about before, we still have the website up. We've got the YouTube page going. We've got the TikTok going. So if you don't know, search us Fairville Docucast on everything. Make sure you like, share, subscribe if you're on YouTube and on Spotify. Man, just show us some love. Download us. Give us a little rating if you guys like us or not. Either way, we'll still appreciate it. And that's it for now. I'm Joe.
Hey, it's Be Nasty.
I'm Brennan.
And we are out of here.